Hi, this is Mike. I'm reading Robert Alter's translation of Exodus. This is chapter 4. And Moses answered and said, But look, they will not believe me, nor will they heed my voice. For they will say, Yahweh did not appear to you. And Yahweh said to him, What is that in your hand? And he said, A staff. And he said, Fling it to the ground. And he flung it to the ground, and it became a snake, and Moses fled from it. And Yahweh said to Moses, Reach out your hand and grasp its tail. And he reached out his hand and held it, and it became a staff in his grip. So that they will believe that Yahweh, God of their fathers, the God of Abraham, the God of Isaac, and the God of Jacob, has appeared to you. And Yahweh said further to him, Bring, pray, your hand into your bosom. And he put his hand back into his bosom and brought it out. And look, his hand was blanched like snow. And he said, Put your hand back into your bosom. And he put his hand back into his bosom and brought it out. And look, it came back like his own flesh. And so, should they not believe you, and should they not heed the voice of the first sign, they will believe the voice of the second sign. And should it be that they do not believe even both these signs, and do not heed your voice, you shall take of the water of the Nile, and pour it on the dry land, and the water that you take from the Nile will become blood on the dry land. And Moses said, Please, Yahweh, no man of words am I, not at any time in the past, nor now since you have spoken to your servant, for I am heavy-mouthed and heavy-tongued. And Yahweh said to him, Who gave man a mouth, or who makes him mute or deaf, or sighted or blind? Is it not I, Yahweh? And now go, and I myself will be with your mouth, and will instruct you what to say. And he said, Please, Yahweh, send prey by the hand of him you would send. And the wrath of Yahweh flared up against Moses, and he said, Is there not Aaron the Levite your brother? I know that he can indeed speak. And what's more, look, he is coming out to meet you, and when he sees you, his heart will rejoice. And you shall speak to him, and put the words in his mouth, and I myself will be with your mouth and with his mouth, and I will instruct you both what you should do, and he will speak for you to the people. And so he will be a mouth for you, and you will be for him like a god. And this staff you shall take in your hand, with which you will do the signs. And Moses went and returned to Jether, his father-in-law, and he said to him, Let me go, pray, and return to my brothers who are in Egypt, that I may see whether they still live. And Jethro said, Go in peace. And Yahweh said to Moses in Midian, Go, return to Egypt, for all the men who sought your life are dead. And Moses took his wife and his sons, and mounted them on the donkey, and he returned to the land of Egypt. And Moses took God's staff in his hand. And Yahweh said to Moses, When you set out to return to Egypt, see all the portents that I have put in your hand, and do them before Pharaoh. But I, on my part, shall toughen his heart, and he will not send the people away. And you shall say to Pharaoh, Thus said Yahweh, My son, my firstborn, is Israel. And I said to you, Send off my son, that he may worship me. And you refused to send him off. And look, I'm about to kill your son, your firstborn. And it happened on the way to the night camp that Yahweh encountered him, and sought to put him to death. And Zipporah took a flint, and cut off her son's foreskin, and touched it to his feet. And she said, Yes, a bridegroom of blood you are to me. And he let him go. Then did she say, A bridegroom of blood by the circumcising. And Yahweh said to Aaron, "Go to the wilderness to meet Moses." And he went and encountered him on the mountain of God, and he kissed him. And Moses told Aaron all Yahweh's words with which he sent him, and all the signs with which he charged him. And Moses and Aaron with him went, and they gathered the elders of the Israelites. And Aaron spoke all the words that Yahweh had spoken to Moses, and he did the signs before the people's eyes. And the people believed and heeded that Yahweh had singled out the Israelites, and that he had seen their abuse. And they did obeisance and bowed down.